this one speaking mistake can ruin your score. And no, it doesn't have to do with hesitating, fumbling, mumbling, getting nervous, using the wrong word, making a grammatical mistake. None of this. So this mistake, most of you don't even consider it a mistake. This mistake is how you actually prepare for the IELTS speaking test, and that's why I'm here to help you out before it's too late. Hi, my name is Asmita, your IELTS mentor here at Vedantu, and before I tell you what is that one mistake that you're making, I need you to fill out this counseling form, and I need you to do it because I care about you. I know how hard this entire process is. So please sit down with your parents, open the form that's in the description and fill out all the details in it, including things like your budget for going abroad, which is why your parents need to be there while you're filling out this form. You will get contact by a certified professional expert career counselor who will lead you to the right path. So make sure you make use of this opportunity before it's too late. Coming to the mistake, like I told you, it's not bad vocab, it's not grammatical mistakes, it's not hesitation. All of that can still get you a decent score. Like even if you hesitate a little bit and make 1 or 2 grammatical mistakes, that still allows you to get a band 9 if everything else is right. But this one mistake can be fatal for your IELTS speaking test, and that is sounding memorized or scripted. Scripted answers that you've gone out of your way to mug up, because we Indians are really good at ratification, can hurt your score. The examiner is trained to look out for cliched, overused, really robotic answers that are all over the internet. And if you give that one overused cliched response, it's going to immediately set off an alarm in the examiner's head. Most Indian students try to memorize answers, and it's really not your fault. It's just how the education system has trained you. Ever since you were in the first grade, your teacher has been writing answers on the board. You have been copying them in your notebook. In the exam, you just have to regurgitate everything that you had memorized. So you were never really allowed to think for yourself, especially in terms of language. Because even if you can think for yourself in terms of ideas, how do you put those ideas across was never taught to you. You always resorted to memorization, and that's a huge problem for the IELTS because it's an English proficiency test that precisely wants to know whether or not you can communicate your ideas effectively. So if that's the one thing that you're unable to do, you have essentially failed the test. Memorized and scripted answers don't sound impressive. They don't wow the examiner. If you have no hesitation and you just go chat chat fat 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 with your answer, that's going to make the examiner feel like you've worked for the wrong thing. You don't really care about being able to communicate when you go abroad to study. All you care about is getting the best score in the exam, and unfortunately in the IELTS you cannot get the best score this way. The more natural, the more real, the more honest you sound, the better your chances of scoring a higher band. Alright? You think that memorizing answers will help with fluency, but a huge part of fluency is that natural break that you take in the middle to think about what you're going to say next. Fluency doesn't mean that I'm talking like a bullet train or a machine gun non-stop, just fat, 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 fat. No, that's not fluency. Fluency is connecting my ideas properly. If I come up with something new in my head that I want to communicate, making sure I am able to join that to my current stream of thought. So examiners are trained, they've been doing this for years, and they can tell instantly when something is fluent versus when something is memorized or scripted, right? The biggest tell of a memorized or scripted answer is it's sounding robotic. There being no real emotions, no actual, inflection of voice, intonation, the necessary hesitation, all of that is not there. Vocabulary starts sounding unnatural. So maybe, see, you have been communicating with the examiner in some capacity throughout the test, right? Even when they're not asking you questions that have to be assessed, they are still talking to you. And when they're talking to you, they get a general idea of where your English is. You have a conversation with someone, you're able to tell if they are fluent or not in English, right? Or any other language for that matter. So the examiner, even while asking you your name, asking you to sit down, asking if you want water, asking to see your ID, in all of that small talk communication as well, the examiner is able to tell whether or not you're fluent in English or not. And so if here you're struggling a little bit and then all of a sudden in your answers you're giving these really high impact vocabulary, fatavat jhadajat memorized answers, the examiner is going to know that this is not coming from you, this is simply memorized. All right? There's no spontaneity or real thought. Now, real thought is always because it's happening at the same time. I'm thinking, and then after a microsecond of thinking, I am speaking, right? So, a lot of things can impact my thought. Maybe I said something and then I immediately want to take it back. Maybe I am going towards a different direction, but I want to now change what I'm saying a little bit. The human mind is like that. There are multiple things that are being processed at the same time and then being communicated. So there's a certain level of that spontaneity while we're speaking that's not there in a memorized answer, because the memorized answer is not something that is coming out in real time. The memorized answer was thought about, written, corrected, edited, reviewed, and then provided to you. There's a huge difference between an honest, real answer and an edited, reviewed, and drafted response, right? So that's why what you're saying is like the first draft. What you've memorized is like the final draft of some written work. It's gone through a lot of editing. That's not what the examiner is looking for. The examiner doesn't want a perfectly edited response. The examiner wants a real, honest, spontaneous response, and that's what's missing when you memorize answers. All right, so here's an example of a bad memorized answer, saying something like, my hometown is Delhi, it is the capital of India, it has many famous monuments like Red Fort and Qutub Minar, I like it very much. Now here, listing out facts about a place, talking about something that's impersonal. Why do you care if Delhi has Red Fort and Qutub Minar? You are not a tourism ad. You're not the government of Delhi, right? Nobody's asked you about the monuments. You have to talk about what makes Delhi Delhi for you, what makes it your hometown. And no memorized third-person response can speak for you, right? Your hometown is Delhi, you like it not because it's the capital of India, not because the Red Fort and Qutub Minar is there. You have a completely different reason to be attached to this place. Make sure that comes through in your response. All right, that's what makes it a real good IELTS response. Now, what is the examiner actually looking for? It doesn't, the examiner doesn't care about how fast you're speaking. Obviously, you shouldn't be speaking so slow that it seems like you are at a loss of words or you cannot think of words in English. But your pace does not indicate how fluent you are, right? It's the way your ideas are expressed. So please don't try and aim to speak as fast as possible. You have to speak smoothly, right? You have to have a natural flow. Your range of vocabulary needs to be good and ideas need to sound like your own. Share your personal story, right? A memorized response will never be able to tell your personal story. And your personal story is so unique to you that the examiner has not heard anybody else say it before. All right? See, here, range of vocabulary does not include memorized phrases, but you can memorize vocabulary. Vocabulary is meant to be memorized. But the thing is, application of it shouldn't be memorized. It's not like I'm going to use this word only in this sentence because I've memorized the sentence only for this question. That's not how it should work. You should have memorized different words, but you should also have the knowledge of knowing when to use which, right? And flow needs to be natural. See, everybody has a different way of expressing themselves, right? Some people are a little dry and sarcastic. Some people are overly enthusiastic and optimistic, right? So just be who you are and your natural flow will come out in your answers. Okay, communicate the way you wish to communicate with clarity of thought and you're going to do perfectly well in the IELTS. Don't waste your time memorizing answers. Instead, spend your time productively in improving your English, because that's not just going to help you for the IELTS, it's going to help you beyond that in life, right? In your college, in whatever professional space you'll be working in. So please don't waste valuable time. Get that Indian education system out of your head. And you are going to do this by practicing this question. I want a response to what kind of music do you like. In the comments, make sure it's natural. I can't test your fluency through written medium, but I can still tell if you have actually crafted this response or if it's AI generated. So make sure you give me a genuine, honest response in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're finding these videos helpful. We want to be there for your IELTS journey, in fact your entire study abroad journey, and we're trying our best to help you out as much as we can. So your subscribe, your like, your share does a lot for us, so make sure you're doing it. And you can join the Telegram group so you don't miss out on updates and get all your PDFs and stuff on time. Take very good care of yourselves. I will see you. Bye bye.